happy close to the open. The open's officially done. 21.3 and 4 have done and finished on the weekend here. And we're moving forward into the spring and into the summer for some good times and some good programming coming your way. To kickstart off our day, we're going to work on a little bit of different types of strength today. We're going to work on some 8s. And we're going to have some fun with this today. So our warm-up is going to be a sumo overhead good morning for 5. Sumo squat hold for 15 to 20 seconds. Goblet squat for 3 to 5 at a 3-1-3 tempo. Dynamic triangle of 3 to 5 aside, and a plank to down dog / bear squat for 3 to 5 reps. You can play around, you can mix and match, you can do whatever you need to do with that plank to bear squat / down dog, whatever you want to do or not do. We'll say if you just want to stick with the down dog, awesome. All right, take it down. Now hit that 2 to 3 rounds, move through that work set, and we're going to move into our first exercise today, which is going to be a single leg RDL for 8 per side. How this is going to go is you're going to do your 8 reps on one side, 8 reps on the other side. Each of those reps has a 3-second eccentric or negative, so that is the downward portion of the movement. And you're going to do 8 per side, and you're going to rest 30 seconds in between each set. You'll do 4 to 6 sets. All right, so it's going to be pretty steady back and forth between these exercises. So one leg, other leg, 30-second rest, 4 to 6 times. So it's going to generate a little bit of fatigue. It's going to get tough. But give yourself the volume for that exercise as you need to and would like for the day. After you're done the RDLs, you're going to move into the dumbbell floor press for 8 reps. If you have a single dumbbell, you'll do 8 per side. Same concept, you'll be working a 3-second eccentric with a 4 to 6 sets of that exercise. So depending on what you have access to, you can kind of experiment, have some fun with it, and like the first one, you have a 30-second rest in between those sets. When you're done, your 4 to 6 sets of the floor press, you'll move into an elevated back lunge, and I'll explain what that's going to look like momentarily. You'll do 8 per side with that same 3-second eccentric. You can do that loaded, unloaded, however you like, and you're going to rest 30 seconds in between those sets. Once you finish all your sets of your lunge, you're going to finish off these individual work pieces with some dumbbell shoulder press for 8 reps. Again, if you only have a dumbbell at home, access to one, you're going to do 8 on one side, 8 on the other side with a 3-second eccentric, that 3-second lower. Again, 30-second rest in between sets, and you're going to do 4 to 6 sets. Once you're done those pieces, all right, we have 2 lower body focused exercises, 2 upper body focused exercises. We have some optional work down here for 3 to 5 rounds. Front raise for 10 to 15 reps. Lateral raise, 10 to 15 reps. Hinged Flies for 10 to 15. Hollow hold for 20 to 30 seconds. And an arch hold for 20 to 30 seconds. And I'll go through all those exercises. All these exercises in our optional work are going to be very, very lightly loaded to no load at all. So if you don't have light dumbbells or access to light dumbbells, you can grab little water bottles, you can grab cans, whatever you'd like to do. Some sort of low, light kind of movement, light load in comparison about 2.5 to 5 pounds. So nothing crazy here, all right? So check that out if you'd like to play with that. We'll go through those, what they look like, what we're looking for there, and we'll have a good day of strength today. We're gonna get a good body pump going on today. It's gonna be a great day. So let's warm you up and get you ready to go. All right, you guys, let's warm you guys up a little bit. Let's get those feet under the hips. Take the arms up big and tall. We're gonna reach the arms over to one side. Take it back up and over, and reach it to the other side. Come back up, we'll scratch our back, and then reach through the elbow. We're gonna reach up, big over top, big stretch, scratch your back, and then reach again to the other side. We'll come back up, big reach. Hands come out to that T, we'll turn them in, turn them out, turn them in, turn them out, turn them in, and out. Big reach, and forward fold, touch those toes. Walk up our shins. We'll come down, frame a foot, step back into our lizard, nice and square in those hips. Inside hand's gonna reach way up. We're gonna rotate, forearm to the floor. Back up, rotate, back up, and rotate. And come back down. Take an arm up, big stretch, back down, step back. Into that down dog, reaching those hips nice and set, walk and press those heels out slow, nice and steady, just making sure everything feels pretty good. We'll come back into our plank and step the other foot up, Again, nice and square in those hips. Inside hand's gonna reach. We're gonna rotate, forearm to the floor. Come back up, and rotate, and back up, and rotate, and back up. We're gonna plant that hand. Outside hand's gonna reach way up. Planting that hand down, we'll step back into that down dog. Reach of those hips, we'll walk those heels out nice and slow again. Just taking the time. Feel those legs. Feel those ankles. We'll come back into our plank. Tiptoe those feet up. We're gonna roll ourselves up. Big tall stretch overhead. Big reach. Big reach. Come back down with those hands. Let's get you guys fired up. All right, now pause the video if you'd like to take down some more gentle kind of warm up for yourself. Please be my guest. Give yourself what you need. We're gonna go through that top piece and then break down all these movements for you guys to take them down well. All right, our first movement in our warm up today is gonna be a sumo overhead good morning. So I'm gonna turn profile so you guys can see my hip angle and my overhead position. My feet are in my sumo stance, so we're a little wider just to give myself some comfort and some range there. I'm gonna bring my thumbs up to the shoulder and bring them overhead into that good overhead position. So setting the ribs, squeezing the glutes. I'm gonna pull my hips back, keeping my knees soft. The weight is through my midfoot, so my big toe is staying on the floor, and then I'm gonna stand up nice and tall. Now, while all of that is going on, what we still need to focus on is keeping those arms up overhead and reaching, keeping them up there as best we can, because it's really easy to forget about the shoulders and the arms as we're doing that good morning with the lower half of the body. So really fight for that overhead position. Make sure we're fighting to keep those arms exactly where they are. And if all of a sudden your arms start kind of collapsing down, just stop your range of motion. We need to listen to the hips and the shoulders in this movement. So make sure we have two key positions for ourselves. After that, we're gonna stay in that same stance, and I'm gonna work on that sumo squat hold again. So my toes are slightly turned out. I squeeze my glutes, set my ribs. I take my hips towards my heels. My chest stays upright. Knees are pressing out. Chest is up. I'm thinking about all those key points the entire time I'm holding the squat position. Then I'm gonna push through my legs to come out of the bottom like a good squat. So we wanna make sure we're entering and exiting the same. So if we need to come out of it sooner than later, please do so. Right after those sumo squat holds, we're gonna go into a goblet squat. And if you don't wanna do this with load right off the hop, you can work on your air squat as well. That's totally fine. My feet are gonna come into my regular squat stance. Dumbbell up under the chin, so I'm nice and set, pressing into those arms. I'm gonna take those hips to the heels, keeping those knees tracking the toes, and working on that good position the entire time. So we're really focusing on that midfoot balance, keeping everything pulled together, and keeping that torso upright. So really fighting for that position, really working on maintaining that upright back position. Now after that, we finish off those goblet squats, we kind of pull those nice dynamic squats together. We're gonna go back to that slightly wider stance, and we're gonna work on that dynamic triangle to really open up our upper back and our hips a little bit more. So I'm gonna get one hand to the thigh as that leg is pointing straight to the side. The other leg is gonna point on the angle, and that hand is gonna come right up to the ceiling. I'm gonna squeeze and set my hips, and I'm gonna pull back into that hip and reach up to the ceiling as I work that nice big long reach, and then I come back up nice and tall. I squeeze and set, I pull, I come back into that position, and I stand tall. Good, one more time, I pull, keeping that position nice and strong, and then I stand. Good, and then I change sides. Again, making sure when I change directions that I continue to maintain that good wider stance so that I have room to set and pull into that heel and really work on that good hinge. From there, we're gonna go to the floor, and you have a choice, and you can mix and match this stuff. We're gonna go plank to down dog, and then plank to bear squat, or one or the other, or a combo. So from here, I'm gonna get myself set up in my plank position. Hands are under the shoulders, my feet in that good plank position. They can be a little wider for this if you'd like, depending. We're gonna pull our ribs in, press our shoulders. I'm gonna pull my hips back and up into that down dog, setting the shoulders, softening the knees and the hips, and making sure that upper back is in good positioning. I'll come back into my plank, fighting for that good position. And then if I'm going to go into the bear squat, I'm going to focus on that good shoulder position, pinky and thumb actively pressing down and taking my hips between my heels. So I'm still keeping that good shoulder position, except I'm staying lower in my hip position than in the down dog. So please pick and choose, have some fun, mix and match. Maybe you do a round and you do down dog. Maybe you do a round and you do bear squat. Who knows? Whatever your body needs for today, that's what I want you to give it, and that's where I want you to go with it. As a quick recap, what we have for you guys is a sumo overhead good morning for 5, sumo squat hold for 15 to 20 seconds, goblet squat for 3 to 5 at a 3-1-3 tempo, dynamic triangle for 3 to 5 a side, plank to down dog or bear squat or combo, 3 to 5 reps, 2 to 3 rounds, or whatever you need to get your body ready to go. Pause the video, take that down. We're going to come back and talk about the single leg RDL, and we'll have some fun with that. Get you guys ready to go. So our first movement today to work on is our single leg RDL. We have 8 per side for 4 to 6 sets. And we're going to take a nice 3-second eccentric, so that's a lowering down of the dumbbell, with 30-second rest in between your sets. So it's going to be a very, very focused chance to work on this movement. So I want you to kind of play with it and kind of get the most out of it for you. Now, with the dumbbells, we can hold a single dumbbell, we can hold 2 dumbbells, whatever you'd like to do for yourself today. But with the single dumbbell, we can hold it to the front, we can hold it on that kickstand leg, or we can hold it on the leg that's doing the work. Again, either position, great positions. They're going to challenge the body a slightly different way. Neither is better nor worse for the other. All I ask for today is that you pick the same position for all 4 to 6 sets, just to keep it consistent over the course of the time frame in terms of today's work set. So wherever you choose to pick that dumbbell placement for the first set, keep it there for all your sets. So I'm just going to hold it in the leg of the kickstand hand to show you guys so you can see where the dumbbell goes. So my kickstand leg, nice and solid. I'm nice and square in my hips. I set them. I set my ribs so I'm nice and strong from the top of the head to the hip crease. That is one piece moving as a single unit in this movement. I'm going to pull my hip back towards the back of the room, keeping my weight through my midfoot. I'm going to take this dumbbell right down to below the knee, and then I'm going to stand up nice and tall. So I do not need to touch this dumbbell to the floor. So I'm going to pull back, working on that positioning, taking it to below the knee, and then I'm going to stand, keeping that weight through that midfoot. Very, very important that I set my shoulders and I pull my hip back to maintain that good hinge, and that single leg is what's doing the majority of the work. So we want to make sure that that is our primary focus. Now, we've done single leg RDLs in the past with the leg coming up off the floor. For this today, I'd like you to keep the leg down as a kickstand so you can really focus on that leg's engagement and the positioning, just so we have to take the balance aspect out of it. You can feel the foot, you can feel the knee alignment, and really zero in the hamstring and the glute. So again, we have 8 per side, 3-second eccentrics, so 3 seconds down, and we have 30 seconds rest in between sets. So one set is equal to both sides, and you'll do 4 to 6 sets, depending on what you need to do for you today. So pause the video, rock those single leg RDLs, have fun with these, you guys. You can play with different loading, but we want to make sure that the load will still allow us to get all 8 reps per side. Our next exercise, we get to lay down for a little bit. We get to do our dumbbell floor press. So if we're using a single dumbbell, like I'm going to demonstrate with you now, you'll do 8 per side, just like we did the single leg RDL. If you have 2 dumbbells at home, we'll rock both dumbbells for 8 reps total. Again, this also has a 3-second eccentric, and you're going to rest 30 seconds in between these sets. And we're looking at 4 to 6 sets. So I'm going to get myself laying down, set myself up with my dumbbell nice and close. My feet are flat. All right, my fingers just outside of my heels. I'm going to get my dumbbell up, and my arm is at kind of a 45 degree at the armpit. So nice little arrowhead position. So if someone was looking at me from bird's eye view, I would look like a little arrow pointing that way. Now, this wrist stacked over top of my elbow, we want to make sure that it's not collapsing inwards. It's nice and stacked on top of each other. We set the ribs, but there's a natural lumbar curve in that low back, so we're not necessarily hollowing out. And I'm gonna press this dumbbell up so it finishes over my shoulder, and then I'm gonna lower down 3, 2, 1, so the dumbbell, when it finishes, is close to my sternum/chest. Just like a push-up. Push and finish over the shoulder, 3, 2, 1. It comes down a bit to the sternum, and we work on that good press. Now, the other hand, I'll just switch hands for a second. This hand, if I'm doing a single, is just pressing in against the floor, just to give myself some stability as I work on that press. So I want to make sure that this arm is still doing something, but it's not pressing a dumbbell, it's just helping my body and my core stay engaged. So I can really maintain that good body position the entire time. So really focus on using the entire body for this movement. Even though primarily it is focused on the upper body, you want to make sure that we're using the entire body to allow ourselves to maximize our potential for this movement. So again, we have dumbbell floor press. We have 8 reps or 8 per side, depending what we have access to. 3-second lower, 4 to 6 sets, and you're going to rest 30 seconds in between those sets. Once you're done that lovely floor press, we're going to come along with me to my elevated back lunge. And we're going to talk about how that's going to work for you guys today. So pause, rock the floor press, come back, we're going to talk about the lunge. All right, so we have an elevated lunge coming at you next. You could also choose to do just a lunge. All right, so if lunging is hard enough as it is, especially with loading, don't worry about putting the front foot up on something. But if lunging is something that you're pretty proficient with, you can challenge it a little bit more with that elevated front foot. So what we're going to do, right now I have a plate that's about 2 inches high. At the highest we want to go is about 4 inches. That's plenty of height, all right? But we want to have something that's stable, that we can put our foot on, and that's relatively flat. So I stand tall. I'll show you with the dumbbell momentarily, but I'm standing nice and upright. My other toe is kind of on that, or it's just off to the side on the floor, so the tippy toe. And what I'm going to do is leave this front foot up on the plate. I'm going to step back, 3-second lower down to the floor, so it's a little extended range. I'm going to drive up and stand tall. That's my elevated front foot. So I'm stepping back, lowering down, standing tall. If by chance the stepping back and the lunge portion is very challenging, and I want to still do that elevated foot, but that step back is a little bit too much, I can also put my foot up on the plate. I can step back so my feet are kind of that nice 50-50 balance position, and I can work on that nice still position so I can still get that benefit of that extended range just with that foot already set in that placement. Now if you're looking at loading this, there's a multitude of things that we can do. What we can do first off is single dumbbell under the chin, which will keep the weight relatively contained and controlled. Or you can work with a suitcase with a single dumbbell. So the same leg that's doing this on the plate, or on the elevated surface, is where we're holding the dumbbell. Or we can hold 2 dumbbells to the side and work on that. The biggest thing with the holding the dumbbells in the suitcase or the farmer's position, we need to make sure that they're not swinging around, and we keep them very isolated to the side of the body so that they're not moving around and causing any extra momentum for our body to control. So play with this a little bit, you guys, with that elevated foot. If lunging again is a little bit challenging still, and you're like, I'm not really good with lunging, I don't know if I'm ready to put my foot on something yet, don't worry about it. You can use those same 2 options I gave you with the elevation. Just get rid of the elevation, all right? Rock with a load, not a load, but we have that 8 per side, 3-second eccentric, 30 seconds in between your sets, and you take it down 4 to 6 sets. So take your time with these, you guys. It's gonna be a good chance. You're gonna get a good leg pump going on. We wanna make sure that we're making sure our position is solid and our torso is nice and stable. Pause the video, take down those lunges. We're gonna see for our last upper body exercise in our work sets today. Our last exercise of our work sets is our dumbbell shoulder press. So again, 2 things, actually 3 things. If you are living with a single dumbbell, 8 per side, just like we did with the floor press. If you have 2 dumbbells, rock them together. And if you don't have a weight that you're capable of shoulder pressing at home, if your dumbbells are limited and you only have a weight that you can push press, you can do push press in place of shoulder press. All right, and you'll still keep that 3-second eccentric, working on that strength and controlling down of the dumbbell. Let's talk about the shoulder press first. So I'm going to grab my dumbbell. I'm going to clean that dumbbell up to my shoulder into the front rack position. My glutes are set, my ribs are tight, I'm nice and strong here. I'm pressing into that dumbbell very well and making sure I'm nice and stable. My shoulder press is a strict press, so you press that dumbbell up in that good overhead position. I'm going to bring it down, 3, 2, 1. Killing all that momentum, and then you come back up. Nice press, holding, and then lowering down for 3, 2, 1. Now if I need to do a push press, same start position, same finish position. The only difference is I'm going to use that dip. So it's that nice vertical dip, drive it up, and then 3, 2, 1. So shoulder over the hip, flat feet, good dip, big drive, 3, 2, 1. And then we come back and continue on. So a couple options there for you guys. We still have that 3-second eccentric, regardless of the shoulder press or the push press. We have 8 reps or 8 per side, depending on what we're doing. 30 seconds in between your reps, not your reps, your sets, and 4 to 6 sets. So we're looking at very similar stuff all the way across the board for each exercise, but each exercise is going to offer you a slightly different stimulus. Now, pause the video, take down those presses. I'm going to walk through that optional work of 3 to 5 rounds for you with a little bit of lighter loading, and we'll see how we feel at the end of our day today. All right, pause it, rock it, come back and join me for some accessory work. So what we got? We got some optional work if you got some time, or if you're like, you know what, I kind of want to just give my body a little bit of extra love. We have some front raises, lateral raises, hinge flies. So each of these exercises is 10 to 15 reps, and it's going to be executed with some pretty light loading. So we talked earlier about grabbing cans, perhaps like some light soup cans, water bottles, some light ones, but we're looking for something that's between, we'll say, 2.5, 5 pounds, at the very most, probably 7.5 for most of these exercises with the volume that we're doing. So for two of the first exercises, we're in this nice standing position. I'm going to be holding my hands to the front, setting my ribs and glutes so my torso doesn't move at all. My arms stay straight, and I'm lifting my arms straight up to shoulder height and then back down. This is my front raise. So my palms stay down. I'm working on stopping any momentum, so I'm not swinging my arms up to the shoulder. I lift, set, come back down. Lift, set, come back down. So there's a little pause on either end, just so we're not getting any extra momentum. Our next exercise is the lateral raise. So I take my hands from there to the side, and I'm working on lifting straight up, palms are down, and back down to the side. Like the front raises, I'm not swinging, I'm not looking for momentum, and I'm just coming up to the T position. So these are very light, we'll say, in terms of our exercises moving forward. Now our hinge flies are a little bit more involved because of our movements. So we're going to turn to the side so you guys can see profile. My feet are kind of a hip width or just outside hip width stance, and I'm going to hinge just like I would if I was going to do a deadlift. So my back position, nice and straight, nice and strong. I'm strong and stable from hip to the top of the head. I pull back in that position. My weights, or whatever I'm using for resistance, facing each other, and I'm going to come up to the side using that upper back and down. To the side, back down. To the side, back down. And like the other two exercises, we really have to fight the urge of throwing the body or swinging the body to get that extra momentum. We want to keep it really controlled, and the weight choice is going to maintain and allow us to do those things. So really focus on positioning, really focus on no momentum, just nice strict body movements, and making sure that we are in a good hinge position. After that, we're going to put whatever loading we have down. We're going to do a hollow hold. So we're going to get ourselves into a nice little core exercise. So we're going to lay on our back. Hands are going to be above the head.
we're gonna pull our ribs and hips in, and we're gonna squeeze and lift into that little bracket position. So my low back is pressed into the floor, my arms are up by our ears, my toes are together, and I hold for 20 to 30 seconds. So I can also do a single leg, holding for half the time, and then switch. Or if I need a little bit more assistance keeping that low back down, I can bring one foot up, bend the knee, use that as a foundation and anchor point, pulling the ribs in, finding that good hollow, and holding that position for 20 to 30 seconds. From there, we're gonna work on the other side of the body. So we're gonna flip over onto our back or on our stomach. Arms are straight, nice and set. I'm gonna squeeze the toes. I'm gonna reach fingers and toes away from each other, holding that good strong position, and then lower. Or I can work on one hand, one foot. So alternating feet, holding for half the time, switching, holding on the other side for half the time. So we're gonna work on that nice position, that long body and that arch hold. We're gonna work on that good hollow position, that good compression in the hollow hold. So we got a nice chance to work on both halves of the core. Plus we get a nice chance to get a good shoulder pump going on there for those first 3 exercises. Just a little bit of extra love if you'd like to play with that at the end of your 4 movements. We have a really involved strength day today, you guys. Lots going on there, lots of different movements. It's gonna give you a nice full body kind of feel. So I'm looking forward to hearing back how you like these ones, you guys. So let me know. Let's have some fun today, work for quality, and enjoy. So if you have any questions on anything, please let me know. We're gonna play around with a few different styles of strength work the next couple days, or next couple weeks. So enjoy, embrace, and let's have some fun kicking off our spring and summer programming. As always, enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow for a little bit more cardio fun. Bye, you guys.